I don't think you're quite ready for how sexual this putter montage is going to get. Strap yourself in and get prepared for this. I told you you weren't ready. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's Simon down here at Burford Golf Club. New putter for the Breaking 80 in a Year series. I'm going to donate £1,000 to charity if I don't break 80 once. I won't get my handicap down, but break 80 once left-handed. And Dwayne, the legend that started the Trash for Treasure series and donated that hybrid, came down and dropped off another club as well as this putter. This is the first putter that he ever had. It's probably quite relatable to a lot of golfers that might be watching this channel. He bought a package set out of a golf magazine way back when, and this is the putter that came out of it. And I'm going to be practicing with this putter for the foreseeable future. Now, I'm not going to see out the series with this putter. I'm obviously going to find something that's a lot more forgiving, better grip, better length for me. But just to get practicing, this is going to be ideal. So obviously left-handed, it's both-handed, right and left-handed. And we're going to do the Dave Pelt's putting test, which basically is going to give me a handicap of where my putting is now, and we can measure it over the course of the year. Hopefully it's going to get better, as well as do the short game Dave Pelt's test, which is going to measure my wedge play, my short chips, my long chips, the rough, the bunker. It's a tough test. But the best players in the world would have a very good handicap on this test, and the majority of golfers, even your 10, 8 handicappers, will struggle heavily with this test because there's no margin for error. But it's such a good test because it can document your progression, how well you're getting on, and what you need to work on in the future. New short game area at Burford, hopefully going to be completed in May. USGA spec green, bunkers. That's going to be ideal for the left-hand practice. There's no question about that. So guys, thank you ever so much for watching. If you like this video, leave it a like. Let's go and get some putts holed, hopefully, and see exactly where my handicap is. Guys, quickly before we get into this video, I do want to show you this tip that I found out when I was practicing last night, especially with the chipping and my putting, which I couldn't figure out why my left-handed chips and my putts were so difficult, yet right-handed, not an issue. This is probably one of the big key factors that a lot of golfers, especially when they start, struggle with, and it's this. Right-handed, for example, when I'm holding a putter or if I'm holding a golf club, my hands are very strong. I've got that club down, I can anchor that, and my wrists do not move whatsoever. So when I'm putting or chipping, all I'm doing is rotating. As soon as I flip my hands and tried to hold the putter, this head was all over the place. So as soon as I was trying to move it, my wrists were going all over, which meant it's very difficult to find any kind of rhythm or how hard to hit it, or even trying to get the ball up in the air. So what I found is by gripping the golf club and pushing down with this kind of left arm, just like I would with my right hand, all of a sudden I found that I can lock it in. So when I'm chipping or putting or whatever it is, I've got that same method of just using my shoulders. And in the early stages, that's made a massive difference to my chipping and putting. Not necessarily that's going to be technically correct for everyone. Some people might be able to do it or not, but that's why I'm doing this series. And that's one of the big things I've found, is that as soon as I've locked my wrists and I feel confident in knowing where the head is, because like this, when I'm holding it right-handed, I know where that head is all times. As soon as I was left-handed, especially full swing, I have no idea where the head is. Therefore, as soon as I anchor it down, get a half-decent grip on it, makes a massive difference.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you on the last video, the support on this Breaking 80 left-handed series. I think it's just going to be a quick progressing video series, whereas the long drive stuff I'm very committed to. And if this does hamper my long drive stuff, I'm going to bite the bullet, give £1,000 to charity, because the long drive stuff is my passion and the bit that I love. However, it's just slow and very much a long process, and there's not many updates, and I'm going to only see results every 1, 2, 3 months down the line, and I just don't feel like it's good viewing. Whereas I do want a series where I can make content, entertaining content hopefully, just a bit quicker, whereas long drive is obviously very much a long process, and obviously when they start competing and going other places, those vlogs would be great, but at the moment that's just not the case. So putting, yes, Dave Pelt's test, I highly recommend you just type in Dave Pelt's test or short game test into Google, and these tests will come up. It's a great way to find out exactly where your putting game is, and short game for that matter. That's the 3 foot and 6 foot's done.
On to makeable putts. These are the ones where low handicappers are going to be holding putts, but at the same time you're not 3-putting from this distance. This is the distance you should be confident in either holding it or just going past the hole, and going past the hole is very important. Let me show you the safe zone and how that works. So as a rough guide, I've put my putter along the hole, put 2 T-pegs either side, and kind of made a circle or semicircle around it. Now you can see where the T-pegs are lined up. The ball has to finish in this side of the semicircle. If it finishes short, no points, because it's got 0 chance of the ball going in the hole. And at the same time, if it goes outside that semicircle, 0 points, because the percentage of you missing the putt coming back obviously heightens, therefore you're gonna have more 3 putts. So let's see how I get on left-handed makeable putts.
Okay, on to makeable putts. Now, as I said at the start, locking my wrists out, making sure that I'm finding the middle of the putter face and the club face is actually pointing towards the target. I actually found these relatively simple. Now, there's no room for error, which is why I love this test, because a lot of people go, yeah, I'm all right with putting. Yeah, I'm okay. I get around the hole. But do you though? And the percentage of you getting past the hole, like I'm doing at the moment with the semicircle, if you can do that 90% of the time, you're going to see a lot more putts dropping throughout and around. Obviously, locking out my wrist, as I said at the start, been a big improvement over the last 24 hours, because now I can find the middle of the putt face. And I like using a tough putter, because there's only going to get easier from here on out with equipment.
Okay, in between putts now. So obviously these are in between makeable putts and then lag putts. You're aiming to get these inside 3 foot of the hole, so obviously you're not 2-putting. You're going to get a point if it goes within inside 6 foot, and then obviously points if it goes inside the hole. Anything outside that circumference, obviously you're not going to get any points. And these are the important ones. Again, time after time I see a lot of people get in this position for greening regulation. They leave one way too short and one way too long, lip out, all of a sudden that's another shot on the card that you don't need. Therefore, having a great handicap from this, I would say, is probably one of the most important distances. Lag putts, there's too many variables. I mean, the best in the world, they're going to be great at them. Makeable putts, at the end of the day, if you're making a small percentage, then that's brilliant, but most of the time you're just looking for a gimme and then walking on. These are the ones that have to be inside 3 foot a lot of the time, and that's going to obviously give you tons of confidence when you're on the golf course, because some of the times these are going to drop, but also you're not scared. You don't get in that position going, oh god, just get to the hole. Otherwise, 3 putts. Right, let's see how I do.
Now, as I get further and further away from the hole, I start to see some imperfections in my putting stroke, especially with this putter as well, because it's not going to be forgiving, and any off-centre hits is going to open or close that face, as well as lose a lot of distance, which is why mallet putters are so good and why I recommend them to 80% of golfers, because you're just going to get away with bad putts. However, I want to grain in a decent putting stroke. Just the same, I'm going to be buying blades, or pretty much similar like blades, for my practice left-handed, because I don't want the forgiveness. I want it to be hard, so that I've got nowhere to go but easier.
Okay, I knocked that one out of the way because I think that was going to go past 3 foot, so I've just given myself a point for that one. And then these is what I've got left with. So I think that's 2 point, 2 point, 2 points, so that's 8, 10, potentially 1, 2, yeah, that's inside 3 foot. So those all side 3 foot, which is actually pretty good. I'm quite happy with. 6 foot outside, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15.
Now, I have to apologise with the lag putts because my memory card was full at this point, so I'm going to show you a few of the lag putts. Just exactly the same as the in-between putts. I really struggle with this, and again, this is something that I'm going to have to work on heavily, and something that's going to definitely make my putting handicap a lot better in the future. Being able to find the middle of the putter face and being able to consistently think about how hard to hit the ball, because I just didn't have any thought whatsoever. But sorry I didn't film the majority of these putts, but I'll show you the results now.
Okay, camera just died, so you didn't see the ending of that, but that's basically where we're at. A few of them dropped short, a few of them I mishit, which with the longer putts you're going to see a lot more of, mainly because mishits, hitting out in the middle, not hitting out in the middle. Obviously this putt is not very forgiving, the MOI is not high, which I like because I want it difficult, because at the end of the day, if I can putt well with this, I can putt well with a good putter. But you can see That's quite a few 3-putt territory right there. Not one of them was inside 3 foot. I think, well, 5 of them were inside 6 foot. So I believe that gives me 5 points, which obviously isn't a great score. But these are the kind of things I'm gonna have to work on if I wanna break 80 by the end of the year. Big breaking putts is the last one, and to be honest, it's probably the best lesson for any beginner golfer out there, knowing how to read a green, but more importantly, knowing where the front of the hole is, because obviously on the makeable putts, the semicircle is directly in line with the putts going back from 12 foot. Here it's on a slant, so let me explain why. Now, as you can see, obviously there's our tees in the background. Here's our safe zone, because when the ball starts slowing down from these putts, realistically it's going to die this way into the hole, so it's going to stop. If you're trying to hit the front of the hole here from that distance all the way back there, unfortunately it's just going to keep on rolling. So that's why the majority of beginner golfers, or let's say high handicappers, don't get the big breaking putts right, normally leave it massively past. So that's why the safe zone's at basically a 45-degree angle to all the tees at the back there.
I hope that explanation of where the front of the hole is makes sense, because when I got explained that when I started playing the game, it made it easier to build a picture of exactly how a ball's journey works, and then finishing just below the hole. Again, you want to be past the hole, mainly because it's going to got a chance of going in, but also no one wants a downhill 2 foot, 3 foot putt that you have to be tentative over. There is a putt that hits a tee in a minute, and I said I include it in the like roundup, but I don't actually in the end. And I think I finished on a handicap of 12, which wasn't too bad, but definitely some room for improvement.
In the circle, which is 1 point each, and then one that was actually in the hole, which is 6 points, which gives me a handicap of 9. But you can see how trying to find out where the start of the, or the, let's say the front door is of the hole, makes it easier to leave yourself kind of, or at least know where the putt should be coming from. If you just went from here straight at the hole, sometimes it's going to hit the back of the hole and go in, great, but the majority of the time the ball's going to be all the way down here, which just leaves you too many 3-putt opportunities. So guys, there you have it. I haven't quite worked out my handicap yet, but I'm going to leave that bottom right now to give us some kind of idea where our putting is. Overall, I'm quite happy with how my left putting went. That's definitely not the main concern at the moment. Obviously those lag putts are, but I'm still going to practice them a considerable amount, even though it's quite tight, because I don't want that to obviously get worse or digress. And putting is going to be one of the biggest key factors, obviously breaking 80 and then working back from the green. Next time we're either going to be going out of the golf course and having a good idea of where we are in terms of how many over we shoot 9 holes. And also we're going to do a Dave Peltz, the short game test. So that's the short chips, the ones at the rough, the lob shots, the bunker shots, to get some kind of idea of where and how that's doing, because I can guarantee that's a lot worse than putting. Putting's mainly get an idea of how to read a green, how hard to hit it. So obviously I've still kind of got that skill, because that's more mental. But technique wise, not too bad. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, leave this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later.